How can I choose which country to go first to optimize my resources, my time, and my online business?
By the way, how much are you making right now in your business?
Less than 1,000.
Is that something constant, or is it all kind of up and down?
Up and down.
All right. So one of the first things, the way to think about this is when it comes to choosing countries, right, and realizing when is the best time to start traveling, where to travel first, which countries to go first. You have to keep in mind that, of course, there are so many different countries out there, and there's, of course, low budget, right, low cost countries. There's mid kind of cost countries, and there's very expensive countries. And right now, because of your situation, which is, by the way, it's completely normal. It's absolutely common to hear this because a lot of the people have maybe a couple of hundred or maybe couple of $1,000 making online remotely. And once they start making their first couple of $100, the most natural reaction would be to say, well, I'm ready. I want to start traveling now. While you can start your global lifestyle and designing and preparing and doing a lot of things, even without physically moving to a different country, you can start, designing and creating and living that type of lifestyle from where you are right now. However, one of the things that you should take into account for sure is to make sure that you have not only the funds and savings when it comes to taking the leap and making sure that you don't have that risk, but at the same time a stable income that will allow you to be calm and to be able to enjoy whatever place that you're at. And so if you are right now, my advice would be, if you are at a place where you're not making at least $1,000 just constantly, like for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months, then I wouldn't even advise you or consider going to a country. However, in the end of the day, it is ultimately, of course, a decision that you have to take. But if you were thinking about how to choose the right countries and where to start from, then one of the things that you can consider is, just as 99.999% of the nomads, you can start off with the low cost countries, just maybe as Thailand, Indonesia, things like that, right? And it is okay to use that geo arbitrage, like taking advantage of the fact that your money will be worth more in a different country, right? So if you have $500 or $1,000 in a country like maybe Colombia or Indonesia, you can certainly live okay. But as you go and as you keep on working on your business, you should be able to focus on growing that revenue or that income, so that you can then afford going to other type of countries that you would want to go, and not have to worry about the money, because it is very common to see, and it is very easy to fall for that. I would say once you are making $1,000 or $2,000 or maybe $3,000 a month, and people tend to stay in that comfort zone and eventually just sticking to the low budget countries instead of working towards making more money, so that they can also go to countries where it is expensive without having to worry about that. And so that is the answer when it comes to considering your financial situation and stability in terms of which countries you can head to. In terms of choosing countries, right, when it comes to creating your global lifestyle, the thing would be, there's kind of two ways to go about it. You'll probably have, and you'll tell me, I'll ask you just in a little bit, but you may have certain countries which you are attracted to, or you have certain, right, you have certain interest towards. And if you haven't been there, you're thinking, well, maybe I want to be able to visit that country, or to see if that's a nice country for me to live in the future. And so if you have certain countries like this, you can start thinking about those in a way that, depending how expensive and depending your current situation when it comes to your business and some of the things that you want to be able to do or accomplish, if they are aligned with the thing that you want to do right now, then you can go ahead and, of course, add them into your top priority of countries. And the other way about it would be, of course, once you have that clarity in your plan, and you say, well, I want to be able to, make at least this amount of money, and I want to be able to live this type of lifestyle, and I want to be able to try this type of food, whatever it is. If you look towards that thing and then reverse engineer and think, well, I would love to live in a city, but in a city that's not as expensive as maybe New York, right? And so if you have that in mind, then you can reverse engineer and say, well, which type of cities feel like New York and yet are not as expensive as that city, right? And so that would be the second way you can come up with which countries to put on your priority list. And so in the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you go to one country first or the other, right? But it's up to you and what you want to do, right? So you can try a couple of different things, and you could do it along the way in the journey, depending on what you want to do. And it's okay to pivot. It's okay to change. It's great to have that plan and that clarity of what you want to do, where you want to head. But if there are changes along the way, that's absolutely normal. You can always change your plan, or you can try different things along the way, and that shouldn't affect the fact that you have an actual vision towards where you want to go towards. You have to see it in a way that it aligns with your goals, with your budget, right? With something that you want to do in that country, and ultimately just about the feeling that you have. No one can tell you where to go first. It is simply about you thinking, well, I want to go here first because I want to be able to, check that off my list. Because I kind of want to visit. I'm not interested about further ties. I think with that in mind, it just comes down to thinking, what are some of the things that you want to do? How do you want to do them? And how will those things help you accomplish further things in your life and in your business as well? So if you think maybe going to one of these countries will allow you to spend less, make more, concentrate, enjoy your time more, it all it's like a snowball. It all adds up. And so you spend less and you make more, then of course you'll have faster growth, which will allow you to go to the relatively more expensive country.